What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, Carved Up Vegan Muscle, and today I want to answer the question, does increasing your overhead press affect your bench press? Or if your overhead press goes up in weight, or your ability to push more weight on the overhead press, will it cause your bench press also to go up? And the answer is never quite so simple as what I think people would intend for it to be. If you ask one fitness YouTuber, they will probably say yes, there will be almost a one-to-one correlation between your bench press going up and your overhead increasing your overhead press and increasing your bench press. And you ask another one, and they will say, no, I took my bench press or my overhead press from X amount of weight to X amount of weight, and I never really saw any noticeable progress on my bench press at all. As with anything, there's a lot of factors that will influence why one person might see really good results with something and why another person may not. And in this video, I just want to talk about a few of those factors. One, if you are a beginner lifter, or maybe not necessarily a beginner, but fairly newish at weightlifting. Say you've been lifting for maybe 6 months, and you've kind of maxed out some of those really beginner gains where like you kind of can do anything and you'll just get stronger. It's almost hard not to get stronger if you're just lifting at that point and kind of going through things in most of the lifts. There's huge carryover from one lift to another. So say you've just got past that point and you're taking your overhead press from, say you're able to overhead press 125 pounds, or we'll say 50 kilos, so it would be 110 pounds. And you take that to 60 kilos, or we'll say 124 pounds or something like that. Then you're probably going to see a fair amount of carryover in that lift because you're still kind of new-ish at weightlifting. There's still going to be a lot of carryover just from muscular development, from one lift where you use a lot of the same muscles to another lift. But there comes a point where there is an incredible amount of neurological efficiency that is necessary to cause the entire body to work together to do a lift. So that's why it's kind of easy to take your bench press from, say, 150 pounds to 200 pounds. But it's way more difficult and takes in a much longer time to take your bench press from 350 pounds to 400 pounds. There's just, what goes into one is not the same. You're not at the same part, or you're not at the same level of progression in those two different scenarios. So at that point, say you're taking your bench press from 350 pounds to 400 pounds, and you stop bench pressing for a while and start working on your overhead press. And your overhead press, say it's around maybe 200 pounds, and you take that overhead press up to 220 pounds. Or 100 kilos. Do you think that at that point you'll see that same amount of carryover there? No, you're a much more advanced lifter. The amount of effect, now long term, if you're looking at somebody over the course of a career, yes, the overhead press will probably aid and cause their shoulders to be healthier, and therefore they will be able to bench press longer because of just being healthier and being able to continue to train the lift more frequently at higher intensities for a longer period of time over their career. So in that sense, yes, I would say that the overhead press contributes greatly to the bench press. But outside of that, if you're a fairly advanced lifter coming into kind of hitting bigger numbers, no, there will not be a direct carryover between one and the other. It's kind of an accessory movement that you might use one for the other. If you're a strongman competitor, or maybe a weightlifter where overhead pressing or putting weight overhead, not necessarily pressing it, but putting weight overhead is very important, then the bench press can still be a good accessory movement to do in order to develop muscles that will be used to support that weight. Whereas if you're a power lifter, it would be the opposite. Doing overhead pressing would be the accessory movement that would be useful to keep you healthy and keep you moving weight. But in terms of kind of coming into an advanced level lifter, the two having a lot of carryover, between progressing one and seeing that show up in the other. Nah, it's not really something that I feel personally, or that I've seen evidence of in lifters or in high-level coaches that are coaching athletes work out that way. Probably the biggest proponent of overhead pressing that comes in powerlifting at a really high level that I know of would be Jeremy Hamilton. And I know he is really big on the overhead press as a accessory lift. But even then, I don't know that he's making any claims that it has a huge carryover to the bench. I think that, like I mentioned before, it's something that can add a little bit of extra hypertrophy in some of those things, and that it helps keep your shoulders healthy. So that's it. You guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you in the next video. As always, remember to like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that you would like addressed, make sure to post them in the description, in the comment section below. You guys take it easy.